harvest or all right, you're gonna edit this out. Use this as an opportunity to allow other people to explore. Oh, damn it! All right, everyone, welcome into episode 1 of the Games, Sports, and Life in General podcast. Today's Thursday, February 22nd, 2018. I am Chubbles. I'll be your host tonight. And with me is Lion Sword. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, man. What's shaking? What's shaking?
First show. We'll see how this goes. See if anybody actually listens to this.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be first.
Triple Rinse. Oh, well, thanks for doing that. We've also got Triple Rinse here. How you doing, Triple?
Hey, what's up?
All right, so if it's not obvious already, we are not referring to each other as our real names. These are our gamer tags, just so it's more fun that way. So yeah, we'll get going. We are doing this podcast because these are just sort of the things that we enjoy in life. To be totally honest, this is kind of how we all met. These topics that we are going to talk about tonight. And I just think it's kind of neat that we can sit here and talk about this in general and hopefully kind of harvest or... All right, you're going to edit this out. Use this as an opportunity to allow other people to explore... Oh, damn it. This is just rambling now.
This all needs to stay in.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
You cannot edit this out. It's a great start to a show because none of us have ever done a podcast before.
Yes, this is true. And this is going to be
an experience.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's a new experience for all of us, and it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be great.
Yeah.
This is going to be the main catch intro in the very beginning because you have to have a little snippet of what happens later on in the deal in order to get them like, I wonder when that happens. So we're going to have to listen to the whole thing.
Yeah. Or it's just a complete disaster like it's turning into. So
pretty much, yeah. That worked too.
All right, well, let's get started. So as the title suggests, we are games, sports, life in general. So let's get started. Let's get started into games here. Guys, what you been playing? Lion?
Sure, I'll go first. So today is you had said today's Thursday, February 22nd. Tomorrow, February 23rd, is the start of Season 13 in Diablo, both on console and PC. Console got seasons, I think, 2 seasons ago. So you can now play seasonal play on both PS4 and Xbox, which is very exciting. Console players have been begging for seasons since seasons were released and since the Ultimate Evil Edition came to the consoles back a couple years ago. And so I'm planning on starting a season with a couple friends of mine that also play Diablo on PS4 tomorrow night. The season starts at 7 Central. I won't be able to start then. When you got kids, you can't start doing any of that stuff till they all go to bed. So I'll be a couple hours late to the party, but we'll be on there. Outside of Diablo, I've been playing a lot of my Nintendo Switch lately. I just finished the story of Disgaea 5. It's my second playthrough. I played it through on the PS4 when it first came out a couple years ago, and then I picked it up on the Switch and just finished the story on Wednesday evening. I guess it was just yesterday. Cool. So now I'm kind of going through the post game and.
Do you like the Switch?
The Switch is fantastic. If you want to talk about a console that's not a console, it's a handheld. So on one hand, I feel like Nintendo's being disingenuous by selling us a console because it's not. It's a handheld that has a HDMI out port on it. But the fact that it's powerful, it's more powerful than your generic handheld, but you can take it anywhere. You can play it on a plane, in a hotel. I can play it on my couch, and then when my wife and I want to go to bed, I just take it upstairs and go to bed and play it in bed. It's fantastic. It's exactly what it's designed to be.
I have a question for you. What percentage split would you say that you spend on the TV versus out and about mobile?
1%. 1% TV.
But a lot of that's more like just in the house, like where you're sitting on the couch instead of a phone, you have your Switch.
Right. I'm either laying in bed, I'm sitting on the couch, I'm at my computer because I am looking at a guide for whatever it is that I'm doing, and I can sit and play while I'm just like sitting here. This podcast brought to you by Nintendo.
See, I always thought that would have been a good idea to like put basically like two controllers, like an Xbox controller, like split it down the middle, and then have it like you can attach it to the LCD screen of your tablet, and then use it as Bluetooth controller.
Like the fact that I can set just this piece on my nightstand. It has a kickstand on it. Now this is turning into a Nintendo Switch podcast. It has a little kickstand on it, so I can just like sit it down on my nightstand, literally just lay down in bed, and then I have the two Joy-Cons that I just sit and hold like this under the covers, so I'm not cold, so my hands don't get cold. Because everybody knows that when you're playing a game in bed and it's like 62 degrees because everybody sleeps when it's cold, I'm like curled up like this with the controller like out on your hands because you can't see. No, I just lay down, arms straight out, and it's awesome. And I fall asleep with these in my hands. Inevitably at 2 a.m. they fall off the bed and make a lot of noise, and my dog freaks out, which wakes up my wife, which she hates. So yes, I love the Switch. It's fantastic.
Nice. I have always been intrigued by the Switch. I have not had a chance to play one yet, so hint, you need to invite me over more so I can come play it.
Dude, I'll just
try it out.
I'll just bring it to you on Monday. How about that?
Oh, that would work too.
There you go. What about me?
All right, Triple, what have you been playing lately?
Call of Duty, basically. That's mainly all that I'm trying to get into. I am going to try to get back into doing the LSPDFR part of Grand Theft Auto. Load those back up and try going through that. But it gets a lot of whenever they do an update, it pretty much breaks the game, and then you have to reload everything and wait for people to modify their mods and then start all over again. So it's almost like I want GTA to stop supporting their game so that it never breaks again whenever I add all the mods to it.
So for the people who may not be as familiar with that, you're talking about the PC
version of Grand Theft Auto. Yeah.
Which allows you to sort of
it just
reverse
adds
roles?
Yes, reverse roles. So you're more of a police. It's a police simulation mod for the game in order to basically you can get in your car, arrest people, shoot people.
Is this GTA 5?
Yeah, it's GTA 5. It's you go, and then instead of you start off as your normal character, and then you walk into the police building and it says, do you want to go on duty? You hit yes, and then it generates one of the police NPCs, and then you can take control of him and get in your car and run license plates, check people, go to calls. It's pretty fun.
Do you have this on Steam?
Yeah.
I don't think we're Steam friends. Are you just Triple Rents on Steam?
Yep.
See, look at this, bringing people together.
Yeah.
This is what this podcast is all about.
We're already friends.
I'm talking about other people.
Awkward.
All right, so
what have you been playing,
you
Mike?
Triple?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Funny you should ask. I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty as well.
That's weird.
Yeah, weird, right? So
Xbox
Triple
rules,
and
PlayStation rules.
Triple and I and a handful of other friends, we typically play every Sunday and Tuesday night together. We have for several years now, but Call of Duty is our current flavor of the week, and it is a lot of fun. Personally, I haven't been playing Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2, and I personally can say this game is along the same vein as that. I know a lot of people had a lot of criticism for the Call of Duty franchise in most recent releases, but I think this one is it's pretty solid. So we're having a lot of fun with that. I have also been playing a little bit of Diablo on the side. Not as much, just very recently, but that's just because of a busy schedule. But
so why don't you have it on Xbox so that you can play with Mike? Do you not like Mike? Oh, you do? Okay.
Yes.
Well, the way you're saying it, it makes it sound like you're playing on PlayStation.
I am.
Oh, both. Wow. Does it transfer your character from one to the other?
No.
No. Ugh.
I also have it on PC.
Oh. That's like Grand Theft Auto. I had it on the 360, the PC, or Xbox One, and the PC.
I own Diablo 3 on the whole thing, all expansions, all DLC.
See, I never got into that.
On all three systems, everywhere it's available. I literally cannot buy any more Diablo content. I have it all.
I think Diablo to West is sort of like Halo to you and I. At least
Except he doesn't hate Halo now, or he doesn't hate Diablo now.
Back when Halo was great and fun to play, that was kind of the comparison.
Yeah.
I don't know how many hours you think you've logged in Diablo, but I'm sure it's substantial.
Diablo 3 or Diablo in total? Like the whole series? Like the whole series, we're talking about literal thousands.
Yeah.
Years.
Pretty much what I was expecting to hear. So yeah, Diablo's a ton of fun. I love those, just the dungeon crawlers, the action RPG games. I always have. I've never played one quite as in-depth as Diablo. I've loved playing the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, and heck, even back to Gauntlet Legends back on the N64, if we're gonna go back nostalgic here a little bit. This game is a ton of fun. I have also recently bought the Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic, is what it's called, app on my Android phone, and oh my gosh, it hits all the feels. I've logged so many hours back, 99, 2000, I guess, dominating my parents' computer all the time playing that game. That's been a lot of fun. That's what I do at night when I'm laying in bed. I don't have a Switch, so I play Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I'm usually playing the Xbox until like 12, and then it's just go to bed. Although I'm playing Assassin's Creed Origins. It's a pretty good game. It's the better one out of since Black Flag that I've actually played. So
nice. So, kind of along the same the same vein of games, I wanted to get your guys' kind of thoughts on recent trends in console video games specifically. Wes, you're much more knowledgeable in the PlayStation realm. Zach, I know you've kind of dabbled in both, and I am strictly just Xbox, but it seems to me, and I don't want to blanket the whole generation right now, or the get off my lawn mentality, but it seems like recently games have either not been released with the full content, or games don't get promised everything that gets released, or everything is required a giant day one patch. And so I just wanted to get your guys' feel on what do you think is more annoying when a game comes out? If it gets delayed because things are not ready, or when they go ahead and release it and then it requires a ton of patches and downloads to get the game running correctly. Triple?
Well, Master Chief kind of wrecked that whole thing, man. That was the worst debacle ever, and I will never play another Master Chief game just because of that. I mean, they work. Halo 5 was working better than Master Chief Collection, and then they're just like, we're gonna forget about Master Chief. We got your money. We don't care. And it should have been a better game than what it was.
I completely agree. It was incredibly disappointing to have that much anticipation and expectations for a game to not work for weeks, some
months. It was 3 months before they got it to where we could actually get a game, and then it was just not the same game type that we liked. Everybody was playing Slayer. Nobody would do objective, and they even did away with the objective playlist, I think, at that time. So
I guess if you had your way,
delay
you'd probably
it.
prefer
Delay it.
Delayed.
Yeah.
Sure.
You can always find something to occupy yourself with until the game comes out. And,
sure.
Especially those days that you're like, oh, I'm going to take off work and I'm going to play that game, and then you can't play it because it's broken or the servers won't let you on. It's stupid. So usually you got to wait a week in order to get enough time to play it. So that's my feeling. What about you, Lion?
Sure.
Well, Chubbles, you said you didn't want to get off my lawn with this. I have no problem jumping into that realm with the get off my lawn mentality. Talking about the direction that console gaming has gone is very frustrating to me. It used to be, because here you go. Back in my day, when I played a video game, the game that I bought in the cartridge or the disc was the full game. You played the game, you beat the game, and that was it. If the game had replay value, you played it again. It was great. Now it did. So Final Fantasy 15 just released their like super duper actual all of the content maybe edition on like PC.
Game of the year.
Yeah, whatever. So whatever, all of the content edition.
Yeah.
That you could have bought a year and a half ago, but you didn't. And it is incredibly frustrating because I don't want to play a game in pieces. Like, I don't want to spend $60 for a game now that isn't done, and then in 3 months, play the next 33% of it, and then 3 months later play the next 33% of it. Like, I want to have a game, play it at my own pace, at my own time, and if I want to take a day off and play it, like, I expect it to be functional. And I expect to be able to play however much I want with however much time I have. Console games, right? PC games and other online games, completely different. There's a completely different conversation.
Sure.
Console games, when you buy the game, it should be the finished product, period.
Agreed. Even just as recently as Call of Duty, I know we ran into the same issue, and because they released the beginning of November? Is when it first came out?
I was thinking like October because it was like a good month and a half before the Christmas newbies got online to...
Right. And so we all communicated and said, well, because we knew that it was probably going to have bugs and things day one, so we purposely waited, got it on Black Friday. I remember that weekend we all got it. Put the disc in, loaded up, still has issues.
Right.
We knew that it was going to have a few issues here and there, and it was incredibly frustrating to play. I mean, that was a month after the game had released, and it incredibly frustrating. On the flip side, recently Rockstar came out and announced the release date for Red Dead 2, and that it has been pushed from Q2 to November this year,
October.
I think. October
like 26th.
Yeah.
And they had
I'm disappearing off the map whenever that comes out, by the way, if it works right.
Yeah, fully understand.
Well, GTA did the same thing, though. They released the full single-player edition, and then like a month and a half later, they released the multiplayer.
Right, because it wasn't ready yet.
No.
But I appreciate and really, really like it when a company will come out and say, guys, really sorry about this, but we're going to delay the release because we want to give you a quality product. And I wish more game companies would do that instead of seeing only the dollar signs in front of them saying like, well, we have this release date and we can release here. We're going to give you something, but it's usually junk. Do you guys have any other feelings on that? Or
I played the last Hitman game, and that game actually broke it up into like 4 or 5 different episodes, and it was like an episodal release date. And it's kind of like what Telltale Games did with The Walking Dead and all those, and it gives you time to play it if you got enough. My timing, I had enough just to finish that season, and then the next season came out, so that was pretty good. And then the way I also liked that IO Interactive did with Hitman was that every week they'd give you a special challenge, and you had to kill this certain target, a new target on the same map with like a certain weapon or something like that, and you got so many stars for completing it, and so on and so forth. So there was always something a week that even if you completed that, they would give you additional benefits for replaying the system, the game.
sure. Wes, any other thoughts on this?
No. It's an incredibly frustrating topic for me to talk about, so I try to not.
Don't get them riled up.
I try not to get too crazy. Final Fantasy 15 really did it for me, man. They purposefully delayed the game initially, Like, it was supposed to come out at the end of September of 2016, and they delayed it to November, which was fine. Like, that is what I want to happen. But then, I mean, they had never intended to release the full game. They were going to create it in an episodic format, but instead of like Telltale Games does, where they make it affordable, like the game is not $60 out of the box and then $30 for expansions. Telltale Games is a lot more affordable, so their episodic content, like Triple said, actually makes a lot of sense the way they do it.
Sure.
You're basically watching a TV show. A visual novel is a better explanation for what they are. It's an interactive visual novel, not an actual, like, in-depth RPG or shooter or what have you. And having to wait and have gated access to a console RPG is just bonkers to me. But people are obviously buying it. They're obviously spending the money. So it's not going to stop happening because people are continuing to do it. So
unless you're EA. And their whole loot box transaction deal.
I mean, plenty of people still bought Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Just not you, Trev.
You look at it though.
Well, I guess not me,
there's a lot of people that didn't buy that, and there's a lot more people that didn't buy it because of that than what would have happened if they just would have kept everything off. And that was the thing, because you're actually paying to have an improvement in your vehicle, like enhanced tracking and targeting.
You're paying to have an opportunity.
Yes, and I do see that is quote unquote gambling. I mean, I can see it.
It's different. It's different. Loot boxes are fine. Loot boxes are fine. Gating actual content is not fine. Giving players something to spend $5 on or $150 on because they can't control themselves is fine. Like, if a player wants to spend $500 on loot boxes so they can virtually kill you better than other people, fine.
I'm not playing that game.
Chubbles, you and I have had a long disagreement about this conversation.
Sure.
A long time ago. Earlier, at the middle of last year, we had this conversation about loot boxes and whether or not pay to win was okay. I view pay to win as fine, because I understand that going in, if I'm going into a game that has pay to win loot box features, I'm not going to be as competitive as somebody who spent $500 on loot boxes. And I'm okay with that, because if somebody is dumb enough to spend $500 on loot boxes so they can kill me better in a video game, more power to you.
But it doesn't make the game fun anymore, because
it makes the game's fine. Like, the gameplay for me doesn't change. Like, the gameplay is still the same. I'm still carrying a gun and shooting people or completing objectives or whatever. Like, the gameplay does not change at all. It's just other people have access to better things faster than you. And if you don't like that, don't play the game.
That's why
and
I
that's
don't.
fine. And that's why you don't, and that's fine. But, like, it's not the developer's fault that they have discovered that people are dumb and will spend hundreds of dollars on loot boxes.
Sort of like what, Plants vs. Zombies, wasn't it? Like, all those little microtransactions in the games where you can, like, speed up time in order to... Yeah.
Candy Crush. Nobody is killing Candy Crush for being able to spend $2 to refresh your lives, but they do it. You know how much money King makes on that crap?
It's ridiculous.
Billions of dollars. It is ridiculous. But hey, it's 2 clicks of a button on my phone, and it's $2 on my credit card statement. Who cares?
Times 14 million people doing that.
Yeah,
exactly. And most people can't control themselves to only do it once or twice.
Yeah, well, and it was like what was the Clan of Clashes? Was that the other one?
Clash of Clans.
Clash of Clans. I played that until it was like, oh, you gotta wait 2 days in order for this to build, and I'm like, I'm done. I can't wait 2 days.
This is stupid. Yeah, but those people
buy
like
now.
People like paying the money to play those games and the development. I mean, companies exist to make money.
Oh yeah.
So like telling the developer that they're doing their gaming population a disservice by making more money so they can make more games is kind of silly. But if you, long story short, loot boxes. If you don't like them, don't play the game.
Fair enough.
And not to beat a dead horse here, but it's still, I wonder why there are still companies like Rockstar who will release a game like Grand Theft Auto 5 that has been active for years, and they're still producing new content for free.
Well, that's because of the shark cards.
Well, okay, that is true. There are microtransactions available, but the downloadable content to expand the play is free. It's completely free.
But hey, it costs $4 million to buy this new car. I can either grind for 12 hours, or I can just go get a shark card and pay $50 for it and be done. I mean, that's the same thing. I mean, but it doesn't really.
Same concept.
Yep.
Right. But you're at least getting like the new.
You're getting content for free.
Right. And that was my point. Is there?
Yeah.
You're at least getting something for free, and
There's
you have
bonus.
the same. You have the same environment that everyone else is playing in, and you're not required to buy something to keep up with everyone else.
Right. And you can
Like
play
other
that
games.
one in a private lobby. You don't have to worry about going up against someone else that has
There's some things you like to do. Some of the heists and stuff. There are parts of the heist that you have to do in a public lobby. You can't do the whole online experience in a private lobby. So they do force you to get into the public lobbies some. But you never, if you don't want to do that content, you don't have to. You can live in a private lobby in that game and do a majority of the content.
Sure. All right. I think that kind of wraps up games for now. Let's move on to some sports talk, and I am very anxious to get this off the ground here. So, as you probably noticed, Triple Rinse is sporting a lovely Chiefs shirt tonight. You are both much larger Chiefs fans than I am. I enjoy the Chiefs. I enjoy football. I would say you two are way bigger fans than I am, but I'm at least willing to augment this conversation a bit. So if you follow the Chiefs or the NFL in general, you probably heard about the big trade that happened a few weeks ago. The Chiefs quarterback Alex Smith was traded to the RedSkins and also extended his contract.
got paid.
Got paid $94 million, 70 of which are guaranteed for 4 years. In exchange, the Chiefs got cornerback Kendall Fuller, which he has 2 years left on as a rookie contract, which means he's making $1.5 million for the next 2 seasons, and a third-round draft pick. I'm going to give my 2 cents on this real quick and then let you guys have your turn. I think on paper, this was a slam dunk deal for the Chiefs. I know that they were kind of up against the
Salary cap.
salary cap. Thank you, God. And so this made all this. I know, right?
There's
don't
the
have a
salary
salary
cap.
cap,
We can just buy
It
our
made all the
championship.
sense in the world for the Chiefs to do this. When you look at their Pat Mahomes coming up, it looks like he has all the ability in the world. I just worry about their future in the next couple of seasons because of this deal. But I think on paper, financially, this was slam dunk, easily a wonderful move for the Chiefs. I will let you guys talk about this.
Go ahead, Wes.
Okay. Triple and I have a disagreement on the value of Alex Smith. He thinks Alex Smith is not a good quarterback. He thinks he's okay. You think he's okay? You think he's okay?
He's average. He's average.
He's an average quarterback. He's not a
Yes.
good quarterback. He's an average quarterback. I think Alex Smith is a good quarterback, and I think this past year he played at a great quarterback level. That being said, I don't think that you and I are going to have any disagreement on whether or not this trade should have been made.
Oh yeah.
When the Chiefs drafted Pat Mahomes, it became very apparent that Alex Smith was not long for Kansas City. And after the great year that Alex had, I think he led the league in quarterback rating. trading Alex now when his value is probably as high as it's ever going to get, because he's not a guy that's going to really rack up the stats at the quarterback position. His value now is as high as it's ever been, and the Chiefs really struggled on defense last year. Mm-hmm. So the fact that they got somebody to stand on the other side with Marcus Peters at corner, and they've paved the way now for Pat Mahomes to be the quarterback of the future, like Chubbles said, it's a slam dunk.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to do the same thing that Seattle did with Russell Wilson. Why they have Russell Wilson on the cheap contract, they're going to try to pad everything around him to prop him up a little bit until he gets on his feet and gets everything squared away. So, I look for their window between the second and third year to make a really good run for it.
So, how long? Oh, go ahead.
It's going to depend on their defense. Like, yeah. Mahomes is he's a rookie this year. He's going to be in his second year. He's had time under Andy Reid, who's a quarterback guru. You'll look at the quarterbacks that he's had. He resurrected Mike Vick's career, created Donovan McNabb, and created a good quarterback in Alex Smith out of an average quarterback or a below average quarterback that he had been earlier in his career. So you've got a rookie who looks to have as much talent as any rookie in the class last year. I don't know if he's at the level of Deshaun Watson, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But the defense is atrocious and needs a lot of help. And the team took a big hit losing Eric Berry early in the season last year, and
but they won 5 games without him, and then something happened. Yeah,
he's the heart and soul of the defense, and when you don't have that guy, it's hard to keep that momentum defensively. And so I think what Triple said is exactly right. They're going to use the big, monetary difference between Alex Smith and Pat Mahomes, and sign in the cheap corner they got from the Redskins, and they're going to spend some money on a middle linebacker and a defensive end and maybe another safety to stand on the other side of Eric Berry, and they're going to really make a run for this.
Yeah, and by all accounts, this Kendall Fuller was the best defensive player for the Redskins from what I've read and heard.
I think Pro Football Focus had him as the second best rated slot corner in the league last year.
Top rated. Yeah.
So very good player, and I know just from what I saw on social media immediately was Redskins fans just up in arms, like, of course this happened to us again, because we can't have nice things.
It's funny that you say that, because I was watching the day that it happened, and there's a Redskins radio network, sort of like ESPN over there, and they're like, oh, this is all we did was a wash. We paid Alex Smith. I can't believe it was that much guaranteed money. That's a lot of guaranteed money for Alex Smith. And then they're like 2 or 3 weeks later, we did the best we could. I don't know what they have against Kirk Cousins, but
it's not so much with younger, better quarterbacks apparently.
Yeah. So it's not so much what they had against Kirk Cousins; it's that he didn't want to play there anymore.
And he would have commanded a ton more money than this contract.
Yeah. Alex's deal is what, like 20? He says $94 million, so it's $24 million a year. Kirk would have got 30 minimum.
Yeah.
In a deal. So.
Where do you think Cousins ends up?
Denver.
I was gonna say Denver.
I said hopefully Jacksonville.
You hate Blake Bortles.
There's a lot of talk right now that the Jets are throwing as much money as they can at him, but I would be really surprised if John Elway doesn't sell him on coming to Denver and
did you
joining the John Elway Peyton Manning legacy.
Did you see the Von Miller trying to recruit him also? He's like following his tweets, and he like tweeted, Kurt tweeted something about rainbows. He's like, I love rainbows. We could be rainbow buddies if you come over to Denver. And then he said something about cereal. He's like, I eat cereal for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, man. We'd be good buddies over here in Denver.
Denver needs a quarterback. So
they desperately need a quarterback, and that unfortunately wouldn't be great for Chiefs fans, but it seems like it would be a great fit on paper.
Well, they're going to have to disassemble that team, though, to get him paid, though. I mean, they're going to have to get rid of, what's their corner? I lost his name. Also, Talib, yes. And they're even talking about doing 2 of their receivers, trade them away, too. So, you need a quarterback, you need wide receivers to throw to, so.
Tom Brady's never needed wide receivers to throw to.
Valid point.
Is Kirk Cousins Tom Brady?
No.
That remains to be seen.
Except, guys like Randy Moss and Wes Welker and...
Yeah, who'd Tom Brady win his first Super Bowl with?
That was so long ago, I don't know.
I know who he didn't win his last Super Bowl with, though.
It wasn't Brandon Cooks, I'll tell you that much.
Did you see the... you need to tweet him that, or send him that picture that I sent of the new Madden NFL or 19.
With the ball just out of reach.
Yeah, it's awesome. They really do need to do that.
So, sticking with the Chiefs for a little bit, I know the Derrick Johnson news also came out fairly recently. Now, I'm not as familiar with this transaction as you guys are, but they didn't just outright release him, did they?
They basically said they weren't re-signing him.
Okay.
He's a free agent as of March 14th.
Letting him walk then?
So his contract after the 2017 season, in 2018, March of 2018, his contract voids. And the Chiefs have already come out and said they do not intend on offering him a new contract. So as of March, whatever the date is, his contract will be over. The Chiefs have said, we're going to let you go to free agency.
Understood.
So, which is not a big surprise. DJ's been the heart and soul of that defense long before Eric Berry. And he's gone through two full Achilles tears.
Yep.
And it came back and still played at I don't know if I would say a high level, but he played at a good enough level,
above average,
a good enough level to be a starting middle linebacker in the NFL.
Sure.
And Derrick Johnson's going to be a Chief for life as far as I'm concerned. 56 needs to go up on the wall right next to Derrick Thomas.
Oh, it will.
Sure.
I was listening to the 610 Sports whenever they were talking to him, and he was like, yeah, I really wanted to stay a Chief. I mean, I would have been all I would have had to be it. And they're just basically like, nope, that's not in our plans. I don't care, what you want to do. We have a different path. And I thought that was kind of crappy, but, I mean, it is a business.
Yeah, I mean, their defense wants to get young and fast, not old and slow. And DJ is not young and fast anymore. And
depth, man. I mean, how quickly does your inside linebacker position change with injuries, man?
It's expensive depth, though, isn't it?
I mean, yeah. Then they want their depth to be young and fast, and not old and slow. It's the days of guys staying with one team for the rest of their careers is over. You look at Brian Urlacher. He retired before the Bears could have an opportunity to not do this, or they would have. And Ray Lewis is a freak of nature, so he was able to stay in Baltimore. But and then he left on his own terms. DJ is what, 36, 37?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, he probably should retire with the injuries that he's had on his body.
Same way with Jamal last year,
But he feels like he's still got something left. So and that's his right. He needs to go play if he feels like he's got something left. But to say the Chiefs are not doing him well, I mean, they lived through full Achilles injuries for this guy, and kept him on the team and re-signed him to contracts after those injuries happened. I mean, the Chiefs, or DJ did just fine by the Chiefs, in my opinion.
And then they were like, "Please do not go anywhere in the AFC West."
Probably.
And then he's like, he's
Don't
like,
go play at Denver.
Don't go play Denver.
and he's like, "I'll do the best I can for that, but I'm not promising anything." And then he's like, "All right,
Now,
we'll see you in New England."
yeah, that's a total New England move to pick him up.
Absolutely.
Now, did he?
I hope he does well.
Was it the same Achilles that he tore twice, or was it each one?
I believe it was
the same one. Oh,
but I don't know for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But yeah, when the second one happened, I was shocked that he came back at all. Just with it, I'm obviously more familiar with baseball, but you know, guys coming back from Achilles injuries are usually hit or miss, or they're just a shell of themselves. Ryan Howard comes to mind immediately. And Adam Wainwright, I know, is still battling. Well, he's basically back from that, but yeah, to be a pro athlete and come back from an injury like that is amazing, let alone doing it twice.
But you can still see that he has flashes of himself, especially whenever he hit that, the forward progress call on Mariota.
Well, he laid Mariota out on that play.
And then he freaking trucked Marshawn Lynch too, man, whenever he went out for that ball. And then the previous year, another Raiders on a screen pass lit him up, man. One of my favorite videos is listening to that, where Jerry the King lawyer is like, "Oh my God, he killed him! He killed him!"
Yeah, anytime you can overlay a Jerry the King Lawler voice clip on an NFL,
Him or JR.
Yeah.
You put him or JR overlay on anything, it's perfect. Perfect. Oh my God.
All right, so moving on from the Chiefs, are you guys watching the Olympics at all? Into it at all?
Watched
My wife and I have watched a lot of it, yeah.
Shaun White was about the only thing I watched.
I've been trying to watch as much as I can. I legitimately enjoy it. So, Lion, what's your favorite Winter Olympic event to watch?
I like the snowboarding, because I've actually done that. None of this other stuff. I like figure skating, and I can't do any of that. I can barely ice skate on and stay upright. But I've snowboarded before, and I haven't ever done a half pipe, but I've snowboarded and know how hard it is to stay on your board
Sure.
successfully, and then do anything else like the half pipe and the kind of stuff that they do is really incredible to me. So that's probably my favorite part of the Winter Olympics.
Gotcha. Triple, you having a favorite Winter Olympic event?
No, I did watch it was a downhill, I think it's slalom. It was like the girls that, she was in fourth for like everything but her last run. And then she went 14th. She was 14th and then won the gold on her last run. And she just like, is that time real?
Oh, I did see that. And she was just completely...
Yeah, for
You're talking about the snowboarder who did the downhill or the slalom.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a snowboarder? I thought it was...
Yeah. No, so she is a snowboarder.
Oh, yeah, she's a snowboarder.
And she competed in the skiing event and won gold by a hundredth of a second.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I mean, she just stood there for like 10 seconds. Like, that was awesome.
I was watching the primetime coverage, and they say it's live,
quote unquote.
and so they had the gals running down, and after I don't know the first 17 or 18 women went down, they said, "Well, it looks like we don't expect anyone else to contend for this medal, so I think it's safe to say that so and so has won the gold." And they went on and did something else for 10-15 minutes, and then they broke in and said, "Well, you know how we said that no one else had a chance? Well, we were wrong." And yeah, she absolutely killed it, and I think it was won by a healthy margin too. But yeah, her reaction to that was just priceless. I would say my favorite event is probably the speed skating, specifically the short track, and reason being is it's just compact, full of action. You see people flying around everywhere. There's chances of catastrophic injury with those sharp blades. It's just way fun to watch.
What about like roller
And
derby like style of speed skating?
You like watching catastrophic injuries?
no, the chance for catastrophic injuries, the risk. You don't ever want to see it.
I'm the only person to get a
But you're
record for
glad-
taking my skate off and trying to stab somebody with it.
Well, and I think one of the reasons that I kind of prefer the speed skating and events like that is I prefer the ones that have, a tangible time that the athletes have to achieve. I'm not as crazy about the subjective scoring events like snowboarding and figure skating and things like that. I'll sit there and watch people do the half pipe, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, that was incredible. And then like, oh, your score was 72.4. What?
The superstar effect.
He just did a triple backflip, and then the next one he did a corkscrew, goofy, funny skateboard grip, whatever. And that if I was more familiar with the sport, it would obviously make more sense. But as a casual observer, every 4 years in the Winter Olympics, it's hard for me to understand what makes a great run versus a mediocre run, I guess.
When you talk about subjective, do you think that they get better scores because, like Shaun White, do you think he gets better scores, or do you think they grade him harder because he is Shaun White?
Well, I think, don't they have to kind of declare the tricks they're going to be doing, and they kind of have like a base difficulty value?
Yeah.
And so I would assume Shaun White, his base score is going to be higher, if not the highest of the competitors, because he is so good. He is so skilled at it. And when he completes those tricks like flawlessly, at least from what I can tell, he's going to get like the best scores.
I'm not so cynical as to assume that the judges are not judging fairly. I mean, this is the Olympics. Like, I'm assuming that if they don't judge fairly, the overall Olympic board committee people will say, you're fired. So I assume that the judges look at everybody as if they were Wes Nelson, just chilling.
Yeah, and that's my hope as well.
I'm just curious about that.
I did. It was really neat watching the. Did you ever see any of the Nigerian or the Jamaican bobsled team going down again?
Yep.
I thought that was actually kind of neat.
It's very, very cool. It's very cool.
Yeah. Just, and of course, everybody equates it to Cool Runnings, but I'm sure you guys love that movie because I did. Did you see the German bobsled guys who completely flipped their bobsled over?
No,
I did not see that. You were telling me about it.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome because I think they ended up getting gold, or they had at least a top time for that run, at the time. And I think the commentators were saying how just the way the sled was moving, because they went up on the edge like that, it might have actually saved them a few hundredths of a second because the sled didn't have to slide back down, to its normal position. But it was hilarious watching it just go up, slide over, and they just skidding on the ice, but they're just like trying to celebrate because they knew they had a great time.
So they did like I figured you still had to end over the finish line with your, both skis on the ground or whatever. And it's not a disqualification.
Nope, it was fully legal. It was just pretty. I'd never seen anything like that before. Crashing but having a great time at the same, all in the same run.
Okay, can we get to our least favorite Olympic sports?
Yes. What is your least favorite sport?
We all say curling because it's not actually a sport, and that's the end of the conversation. I will hear no other options.
Triple?
I don't know the name of it, but the skiing and shooting.
You both are completely off your rockers. Curling and biathlon are like the two that I want to watch the most.
How is curling a sport? It's
shuffleboard on ice. Yeah.
It is ice shuffleboard.
You don't see regular shuffleboard on the Summer Olympics, do you?
No.
Then why is it on ice? I mean,
Triple rest his case.
beer in their hand, like
You can't drop the mic because it's like attached to something over there. I can tell, but yeah, there you go.
it doesn't fall.
Sure.
Okay, so what is
Alright,
your least favorite if you think curling is an actual sport?
Well, at least you can have tangible points in that to declare a winner. I guess if it were
Curling.
maybe the giant, what is the giant air event that was new either this year or last Olympics? The newest one for the snowboarding and the skiing, the giant air jump. Simply because, and I think I spoke to you about this Monday, but to me it was a much less exciting, less entertaining version of the slopestyle. Because at least with the slopestyle, you have a combination of tricks that they have to either jump off of different objects or do jumps over certain things, go down rails, and then they have like these series of 3 giant jumps at the end. Where this giant big air was one big jump and didn't seem that spectacular compared to the other events. And again, it's a subjective score, so it's in my opinion.
You can see that we care about that one too.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Bigger Summer Olympics than
like not liking an Olympic sport because you don't like how it's scored is fine. It's fine. We agree to disagree. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. This is fine.
it's fine.
This is fine. So, how long have we been doing this for a while now?
51 minutes and 37 seconds.
All right, let's move on to some general life questions. Triple, you said you went and saw Black Panther.
Yes, I did. Wes, did you see it?
I have not seen Black Panther yet.
Okay.
So,
I thought
thumbs
it,
up, thumbs down?
definitely thumbs up. I don't know what everybody's talking about. Like, it's just watch the movie. I mean, don't try to bring all this social and political stuff into it. Just watch the movie for what it's for. And I thought it was a good movie.
For sure. As soon as I first heard that they were making a Black Panther movie, I was just fully on board. It's one of those more obscure characters that you don't normally hear about in the comics and everything. And when they started incorporating him into the other Captain America and the Avengers movies, I was super excited. And then now he has this whole full movie to himself. I'm very excited to go see it.
The one thing, whenever I saw the previews, I'm like, but it's supposed to be modern day, but they have all this like sci-fi technology and stuff like that. And I was wondering how it pulled it together. But I mean, it explained it within like the first 5 minutes of the movie. So you're like, oh, that makes sense now. Not gonna spoil it for you.
Tony Stark just pays for everything.
Yeah, exactly. No, you have to go watch the movie. Don't, unless we need to flash this on the screen, spoilers, so that anybody listening to this won't be spoiled.
No, I don't want you to spoil it.
Okay. I do on movies like that. I try to shut everything out and then just go based on my opinion and not everybody else's opinion.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
I did that on Star Wars too, but we won't get into that.
We're not going to talk about Star Wars tonight.
Yeah, we're not going to go there. Lion, do you have anything you're looking forward to movies-wise this year or in the near future?
I mean, the Solo movie is coming out in May, so I'm very excited about that. I'm a big Star Wars fan. Triple's not. He hates Star Wars and everything that is good and precious about it. Obviously, you don't like Star Wars. We're not getting into it.
I think Rotten Tomatoes has it at like 44%, but I digress.
Yeah, we should definitely let Star Wars fans tell the directors of Star Wars what the story should be. We're not getting into it.
Just keep telling yourself that.
I will tell myself that. Otherwise, no. I mean, I don't. There's not. I, with you and I have been talking about. I've watched some of the Marvel movies that have come out recently here, just on my recent trip for work. Having a 2-year-old, you don't get out to the movies and out to do a lot of this stuff very often, as you guys both know. So, a lot of my things that I look forward to is having time to myself for a couple hours at night. Like, that's pretty much what I look forward to. As I'm very excited about baseball season. I love football, and I love baseball, and I can't wait for baseball season once football season ends. So I'm very excited. Now, the Royals aren't going to be very good this year, but I still am excited for baseball. Hi, Murphy.
Yeah, Murphy says hi. Sorry. Yeah, I totally echo those sentiments about baseball. And tomorrow, Cardinals versus Marlins. It's the first spring training game. I'll see if it's on.
Go Cam Maben.
Yeah, he's not in the lineup tomorrow. They already released the lineups for the Marlins, and he's not on there.
Any guys a Tomb Raider fan?
I mean, I think the new Tomb Raider movie is going to be awesome.
It looks cool.
I've never seen any of the other ones, so I was just curious.
I think I saw. Were there 2 Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movies?
There may have even been 3.
I think there was 3. I know I've seen the first one.
I've seen the first 2, and they were fine. I saw them once, and that was enough. The one movie I'm very excited for is the Avengers: Infinity Wars Part 1, I guess I should say. I hope, and I'm gonna have giant expectations for it, because I think this is the pinnacle of whatever they've been building to this over all the Marvel movies they've made over the past decade. And to me, it's just going to be phenomenal having all the different superheroes in the same movie at the same time, and I'm very excited for that.
Tuesday, Thor Ragnarok comes out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to watch that. I haven't watched that one.
I haven't either, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. Which, if I remember, the second Thor was.
See, right. I haven't even seen that one either. I have it, but I haven't watched it.
Yeah.
How do you own a movie, but you haven't watched it?
Just one of those things.
Easily.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's my wife buys stuff, and then I have no interest in seeing it.
Okay, well, that's different.
That's a way that you can own a movie and not see it. I got it, and then I don't know, it went on the shelf and
just decided to do a podcast instead of watch the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much. All right, well, I think we're kind of spiraling down here into oblivion, so we should probably wrap this up.
There was Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life. I think that was the last one. I think there was 2 before that.
I might have actually seen that at the IMAX in Branson?
2003.
Yeah, it was a while ago. And I don't remember anything about it other than it was a Tomb Raider movie. All right.
Bang bang.
I think that's going to wrap it up for our first episode here. Guys, it was fun.
Yeah.
We should do it again.
2 weeks?
Yeah, let's try and do it again. I'll try not to stumble over myself at the beginning next time. Actually have an okay intro.
It's a good plan.
Yeah.
Solid plan.
Cool. Well, all right. Thanks for listening. Can I tell them to leave comments below? Is that the avenue we're going to go down?
Yeah. I mean, if like and subscribe, comment, all those YouTube things.
Feel free to like. Please don't subscribe. God, please don't subscribe.
No face.
Yep. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for us, guys. Thanks a lot, and we will talk at you in a couple weeks.